It's Sunday, December 18th, 2022. A couple things I want to talk about today. I read a couple articles last night, extremely important to talk about this. And I'll get right into the first one here. This one coming from CNBC, titled, Car Repossessions Are on the Rise in Warning Sign for the Economy. What does this mean? Well, I think it's a huge barometer, a huge canary in the coal mine, and it's telling us that this economy is in big trouble with what we're going to get into with some of the data here, but that we're going to see huge sales coming in the not too distant future on automobiles. Big sales are coming. I think we're going to see big sales in 2023 because of these massive repossessions in the auto industry. So if you're sitting on some cash, if you're in the market for a car, I think this is going to favor a lot of people. But at the same time, it's going to hurt a lot of people, because when people lose their cars, how do they get to work? How do they get the kids to school? What's that going to do to their credit? This is going to really affect the economy. What's it going to do to the banks that made the loans on these cars? There's another article on the hedge, and this one's titled, Perfect Storm Arrives, Massive Wave of Car Repossessions and Loan Defaults to Trigger Auto Market Disaster, Cripple U.S. Economy. We have an auto loan crisis, and it is signaling a full-blown recession at this point. Alongside housing, car prices have been the biggest driver of inflation in the past 18 months. Americans are using more debt to fund record new car prices. Average new car loan, $40,155. That is a new record. The average interest rate on a new 60-month auto loan, according to bankrate.com, is just over 6.5%, almost double since the start of the year. Think about that, over 6.5%, 60 months, 60 months. And how many people are financing beyond 60 months, 72 months, 84 months? Auto debt and auto loan rates have pushed the U.S. car sector to the point of no return, no doubt. We are at the point of no return now with what we're seeing in housing, what we're seeing in the auto market, what we're seeing, the usage of credit cards and credit card debt. We've never been to this place, ladies and gentlemen. We've never been here before. The average monthly payment for a new car is up 26% since 2019. And that average payment is $713 a month. Now, remember, a little bit over half of American workers make roughly, I think it was $33,000, $133 per month. That's before taxes. And we're looking at the average car payment at $713 per month. 1 in 6 car buyers is spending more than $1,000 a month on vehicles. So think about how these prices have just exploded. But think about car insurance has exploded. Repairs for cars has exploded. Gas prices have exploded. The cost of living, food, everything, rent, everything's exploding. So how are people going to keep up with $713 car payments, $1,000 car payments? A lot of people are not going to keep up with these payments. The auto sector is going to face an unmitigated disaster in 2023. I don't think it's avoidable. I don't make predictions, but I believe we're going to see big trouble in the auto market in 2023. It is going to really break apart. And this is when I believe we're going to begin to see big trouble in the housing market. But I think we're going to see bigger trouble in the auto market in 2023. 2024, we're going to see big trouble in the housing market, but we are going to see big cracks and big problems in housing in 2023. Jeremy Cross, president of International Recovery Systems in Pennsylvania, it's a repossession company, said he can't find enough repo men to meet demand. or the space to hold the cars his company is repossessing. I've watched some videos with repossession companies in the Las Vegas area, and they're buying acreage because of what's happening. They know what's coming, and they're buying acreage to store these cars that they repossess because they know that a huge wave of repossessions is coming. Jeremy Cross says he expects business to keep up throughout next year and into 2024. Over the past 2 years, vehicle prices were inflated because of limited supply. People were still buying like crazy because they had a lot of stay-at-home cash, all the benefit money, all the unemployment money, the stimmies. They had inflated credit scores. So this was all good for the consumer. But this has caused a perfect storm now, because now, since the price of everything has gone up, people are also losing jobs, spouses are losing jobs, wages are being cut, hours are being cut. But again, the price of everything going up, and it's squeezing people. They no longer can afford these payments. Loan defaults are piling up. Repossession companies cannot keep up with demand, so lenders are now paying premiums. Get this. The banks are paying premiums to the repossession companies to get their cars back. 2023, we're going to watch the economy deteriorate even more. And what does that mean? Big trouble for the auto market, lots of repossessions coming, big trouble for the housing market. People are falling behind on their credit cards, on their rent, on their auto payments, on their house payments. We are past the point of no return, ladies and gentlemen. In my opinion, we have never been to this place ever before. We are looking at numbers now. When you look at 44 million people on food stamps, you look at them, 450,000 people now underwater on their homes, and that is going to go up much higher in 2023. I don't think we really realize how bad things are at this point and how much worse they're going to get. People are falling behind. And again, if they lose their car, how do they get to work if they have a job? How do they take the kids to school? How do they get to the grocery store? You lose a car, it's like losing a lifeline. Most repossessions are occurring on people who could afford a $500 to $600 car payment 2 years ago. But now, everything in their life is more expensive. Ivan Drury at the car buying website Edmunds said, car valuations are now plummeting. Some cars have devalued or declined in value 30% year over year. And that means a lot of people are underwater. And I believe the statistic is 250,000 people who bought a house this year are underwater. Now, I was also reading in the article here, there's a guy on Twitter called the Car Dealership Guy. And apparently he is an auto industry CEO. And he said lenders will backstab one another. And apparently he is extremely alarmed after receiving this message. He said 9 out of 10 of our lending partners have started waiving open auto stipulations for consumers. Consumers, basically to sum it up, the consumers are upside down on these cars. They want to trade it in maybe to downsize, maybe to get a different vehicle. They owe more than the car is worth. They have no money to put down on a new car. So they're stuck until another lender will lend to them, and they know that those people will default on the first lender, but they're going to lend on another loan to these people, even knowing that they're going to default on the first bank loan. So what is this going to do to banking? I think banks are going to lose billions of dollars with the loans, the overvaluation of loans. Some of these 140% on a vehicle. They're going to get absolutely destroyed. Now, maybe they just think they'll get another bailout. Maybe they will. Maybe the banks will never crash. Maybe they'll never collapse because they'll just always get bailed out. I don't know. It's very possible that some of them will collapse. They've made terrible loans on RVs, on boats, on billions of dollars of these auto loans in this overvalued market, and now people are not going to pay it back. And then on top of it, they're going to lend to these same buyers turning in these cars. More banks will lend to them knowing that they're going to default on another bank loan, and they're just going to stab one another in the back. Incredible time, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't see how things are not going to continue to go down the sewer here. But shifting gears here and just kind of talking about, I mean, please comment down below. What are you seeing in the auto market? What do you see with your friends with these enormous auto payments and these truck payments of $700, or, you know, some of these truck payments are well over $1,000. What are you seeing? Or do you know people struggling? Are people behind? Are they scared of the repo man now? Do they know the repo man's coming? Do you know people in the repo business? Are you in the repo business? Comment down below. But shifting gears here for a couple minutes, you know, we talk about this all the time. You know, people thrive on crisis. I see a lot of videos, and it's, you know, it's crisis, crisis, crisis. And yes, we are in a crisis, but they don't know and don't really want to prepare for the crisis. And we must be preparing for this crisis. And the people out there that are telling you and I about this crisis, they need to be preparing also. People have an aversion to hardship. And we have a system that basically says that let the system just take care of you. You know, we have this system that will pay for everything, provide everything for you, while others have to pay into the system for these people who don't want to pay into the system, for the people that maybe don't want to work. So we have this system now that is very, very broken, where one half is paying for another half. And the question is what happens when the system completely breaks and isn't there for you? These people who are reliant on the system, you must realize that the system is overloaded and the system is going to break. And when it does, the system is not going to be there for you. If you're on government subsidy, if you're getting food stamps, and look, there are people out there that need it, that need the help, and there's a lot of people out there that take advantage of the system. But at the end of the day, a lot of people are just not going to get any help because the system is overloaded and it is going to break. And most people have no practical skill sets to rely on, to fall back on when it does break. Office jobs, tech jobs, government jobs, social work, school teachers, you name it. In a collapse environment, there are no management positions available, no office work, no elementary school teachers needed, no trust and safety advisors. You either have a skill set or you don't. It doesn't matter you know, what you do at the cubicle. It doesn't matter you're a school teacher. It doesn't matter you work at the assembly line. It doesn't matter that you work at Starbucks. It doesn't matter if you have a government job. What matters is, do you have a skill set once things break apart? Can you take care of yourself? People rely on the government to fix their problems. And again, what happens when the government is not functioning? When it cannot serve you? When it cannot save the day? What are you going to do? What skill sets do you have to fall back on? Can you take care of yourself? Are you an independent human being? Are you your own central bank? Are you your own security detail? You cannot pretend that you're not starving when you're starving. You can't pretend that you're not dehydrated when you're thirsty. You cannot feel your way out of a crisis. The crisis is not subject to your fantasy or your feelings. The crisis will step on your throat and teach you otherwise. Get your feelings out of the way, ladies and gentlemen. Feelings don't shape reality. Reality shapes reality. Get prepared right now. This message regarding what's happening in the auto industry is 6 to 12 months ahead of housing. The auto industry right now is showing signs of hemorrhage, and housing is going to follow. Get your house in order. Get prepared. Get your feelings out of the way. Get the hope out of the way. Hope is a terrible strategy. Get into reality. Get out of the matrix. Get out of the coma and start paying attention to this data. Start paying attention to the numbers. Start connecting the dots. These are massive warning signs. This economy is hemorrhaging right now, and it is going into cardiac arrest very soon. And it's not going to be resuscitated anytime soon. And this is why it is so important, and I'm so adamant that all of you are preparing. I'm not saying this is going to happen tomorrow, but the wheels are in motion right now. Listen to these car repossession companies. I've reported that in this country, 15,000 cars, this is months ago, 15,000 cars a day were being repossessed. It's going to get worse. And people are still out there burning through money, running up credit cards, running through their savings. We have a savings rate now in America at 2.3%. This is unsustainable. Completely unsustainable. And this really concerns me. It scares me because we all know where this goes. It leads to big problems socially. It leads to a real disruption in our society. And it's going to bring the worst out of a lot of people. And you need to be prepared for that. I'm going to leave it there. Have a wonderful Sunday. I wish I had better news, but I live in the real world and I'm reporting these concerns to all of you so that you are preparing. And I know that most of you are preparing and most of you are very, very awake. But I wanted to report this to you because it's scary. This is going to get real scary. I think 2023, and I don't have a crystal ball. I don't proclaim to be a prophet or a reader of the future. But I can connect the dots, and I know many of you can connect the dots too, and this is going to get bad, no doubt about it. So take part of this day and add to your preparations, and don't take my word for it. Do your own due diligence, do your own homework, look into this stuff. I think most of you would agree this economy, and from some of these surveys we're seeing, most of this country would agree we're heading into a very, very bad 2023 financially. So get ready, ladies and gentlemen. This thing is about to get extremely bad, and you have to ask yourself, are you prepared and can you get through this?